Hi soulmates, welcome back to the channel. My name is Divine, and if this is your first time here, thank you for stopping by. Also, if you're a returning subscriber, thank you for stopping by once again. So today's video, I'll be showing us how to go about the pattern drafting and cutting of this inner corset blouse with a strap and a sweetheart neckline. So if this is what you're interested in, kindly watch this video to the end. So the top of my pattern paper is going to be the starting line. I'm going to be marking out my chest line measurement of 8 inches. Then I'm going to be marking out my apex of 9.5 inches. So I later corrected that in this video. 9.5 inches, my length to under bust of 12.5 inches, and my half length of 16 inches. My blouse full length also of 20 inches. I'm going to mark out the same point on the other side so I can get a straight line. So I corrected my apex points to be 9.5 inches. I'm going to be connecting each of these points together. Then I'm going to be marking my blouse length of 20 inches. Now I'm going to label each of these lines: my chest line, my apex, my length under bust, my half length, and my blouse full length. Next, I'm going to be marking my hip line. So we need our hip line measurement when drafting our blouse. And for my half length, I'm going to be coming down with 8 inches to get my hip line measurement. So now I'm going to be marking my nipple to nipple measurement, and I'll be going in with 4 inches. So from the center front of my paper, I'll be marking out 4 inches for my nipple to nipple measurement. I'll connect each of these points together using a straight line. After which, I'll be going in with my dart intake of 1.25 inches. So from the center of the nipple to nipple line, I'll be going out with 1.25 inches on both sides of this line. And I'll be starting that from my length under bust all the way to my blouse full to my hip line. So you can see from my length under bust to my hip line. Then I'm going to be connecting each of these points like so, using this part of my pattern curve. So for my length under bust, I connected that to my apex. Now from my apex, I'll be going up by half inch. Then on my shoulder, I'll be going out with 1 inch on both sides of that nipple to nipple line, and I'll be connecting it like so. So you can see I'm connecting it back to the half inch I marked up. Now I'm marking my shoulder measurements divided by 2, which is 7.75. I'll draw a straight line. Then from the top of my paper, I'll be coming down with 1 inch for our shoulder slope. Then I'll measure what I have left on that line and divide by 2. On that midpoint, I'll be going in with half inch. Then mark my bust measurement divided by 4. On the chest line, I'll mark that out. I'll also be replacing what I have for my dart at that point. I'll replace it. Then I'll be connecting these points together. And I'll also be using this part of my pattern curve for that. So this is it. Next, I'm going to be marking my round body measurement divided by 4. I'll mark what I have. Then measure what I have for my dart intake and replace it. I'll do the same for my hip measurement divided by 4. I'm going to mark it, then measure what I have for my dart and replace it. So if we don't replace this, our pattern is not going to be complete or correct. So we need to replace the dart. Now I'm going to be joining all these points together from my bust to my waist to my hip. Okay guys, so this is it. Next, I'm going to be marking our bust darts, and from the nipple to nipple points, I went in with 0.25 inches. Then on this side of my pattern, I went up with 1 inch and I came down with 1 inch. So our bust dart on this pattern here is 2 inches, and I'm connecting it to that 0.25 points. Now I'm going to be snatching 2 inches from this pattern. So 2 inches divided by 4, that's going to give me 0.5. So from the side, I'll be going in with 0.5, and from that 0.5 I'll be connecting it back to the armhole line, and I'll be connecting it to my blouse length, as you can see me doing. So now my blouse length is 20 inches from the center front. Then on the side I'm going to be making it 18.5 inches. So I'll be connecting that 18.5 inches now to the 20 inches of my full blouse length. Next, I'm going to be replacing my shoulder dart on my armhole, because when we cut off the shoulder dart, our shoulder is going to be short with 2 inches, so we need to replace it. So I'll be marking out different points on this nipple to nipple line I have here. I'll mark the same point on my shoulder line also. And I'm going to measure what I have on each point and replace it on the curve, not on the straight line, on the curve. So from the curve now, I mark exactly the same thing I have on my shoulder darts, and from the curve I'm going to replace it. So please watch carefully how I replace this dart. I measure what I have on the next curve, the next point. I'll take it to the curve, then replace the exact measurement I have. Then I'll be connecting all the points together. As you can see, I've replaced my darts successfully. So by the time we cut off the shoulder darts, we're not going to be having any shortage on our shoulder measurement. Next, I'll mark my neck width of 3 inches so I can connect my shoulder slope. So I'll connect my shoulder slope to the 1 inch, my shoulder line to the 1 inch, and extend it all the way. Now for my neck depth, I'm going to be working with a neck depth of, at the center front, of 8.5 inches. Then on the side, I want it to be 6 inches. So I'm going to mark 6 inches on this side, and I want the blouse to stop at that point. So I'm going to be connecting each of these points together. So this is it. Next, I'll be taking my darts bust tightening. So from this dart leg here, I'll be marking 1/2 inch on both sides, and I'll be connecting that 1/2 inch point back to my nipple to nipple points on my apex, like so. The next thing I'll be doing now is to measure the dart leg so that there is no difference. And on this side, I have 4 inches. I'll continue the same measurement on the other side, and you can see we have a shortage. So we need to replace this shortage. If not, our patterns when sewing is not going to meet, it's not going to be adding up. So now I'm going to be reconnecting my sweetheart neckline with this new line I have marked. This is it. So from this point, I'll be drawing a straight line to the beginning of my darts, like so. So by the time we close up this part of our pattern, the dart, we'll fold it up as like we've cut it out. So by the time we fold it up, you can see that the 2 points are aligning. So unlike the first line, the second line we drew is exactly the same with what is on the side. So making sure our pattern is, our dart leg is the same is very important. So now I'm just going to be blending out any hash line we have, and this is it. So I'm going to erase the first line we drew. This is what we have. So when sewing this now, our pattern is going to meet completely. So now I'm marking 1 inch from that bust tightening. After that 1 inch, I'll be marking another 1 inch for our strap. So our strap is going to be 1 inch wide. Then I'm going to draw a straight line up all the way. Okay, so this is it for our strap. I'm also going to label the strap so that when we cut it off, we will not confuse, we will not be confused. So I label the up and label the down. So from back pattern now, I'll be coming down with 2 inches because our back pattern is shorter with 2 inches. Now I'm going to be marking my chest line measurement of 8 inches and my half length of 14 inches. So our blouse, our half length for the front block was 16 inches, while for the back, the half length is 14 inches. So I'm measuring what I have for my half length to my blouse full length for the front block, which gave me 4 inches. I'll mark that same 4 inches at the front and also 8 inches for the hip line. So I'm going to draw out the line. Next, I'm marking my shoulder measurements divided by 2, which is 7.75. I'll connect it with a straight line. So this is my chest line, this is my half length, my blouse length and hip. Next, I'll mark my bust measurement divided by 4. Then my waist measurement, my round body measurement divided by 4 plus 1 inch for our dart. Next, I'm marking my hip measurement divided by 4. So please note that the 1 inch for that is only added to the waist, to the half length, not the hip, not the bust. So this is it. I'll connect each of those points together. So now I'll divide what I have on my shoulder line into 2. So this is, we can get the curve of our armhole. I'll connect it to my bust measurement. So from the center back of my pattern, I'm going to be marking 1 inch all the way. This is for our back spacing. That is the space between at our back for our corset. So this 1 inch now, when it is open up, that's 2 inches. So we'll be having 2 inches space at the back of our blouse. Next, I'm marking our lacing bar of 2 inches. So this is where our eyelet is going to be sitting. Now I'm going to be snatching our waists and I'll be marking 0.5. So the same thing I have for the front at that point is the same thing I'm going to be having at the back. So I've marked my 0.5 here. I'll connect it to my arm, to my chest line, and I'll be connecting that to my blouse full length. Next, I'll divide what I have from my waist after the snatching to my lacing bar. I'll divide what I have there by 2, and on that point I'll be going out by 0.5 on both sides of that point. Then I'll go up with 5 inches and come down with 5 inches from that point. This is so we can draw out our dart. So I'll be connecting each of these points to the 0.5 inches to the 5 inches mark I marked. So we'll be drawing out our dart leg this way, and this is what we have. So on this side of my front, I'll be coming down with 2.5, just like what is on the front. The same thing I'm going to be marking at the back of my pattern. Then I'll connect it how I want it to be. Now for my shoulder, I'll be coming down with 1 from my shoulder slope. Then from my dart line here, I'll be going out with half inch, 0.5 inch before I mark my 1 inch for my strap. And I'll be taking that all the way up using a straight line. So this is what we have. Then I'm also going to be labeling the strap for this back, the up, the down, and the side. Now for my back yoke, or how I want my back to be, I will be going up by 1.25 on that point and just blend it back to my lacing, to my back spacing, like so. So our strap is going to be starting after this yoke. So on this point, I always like to take my back tightening. So I'll be going up with half inch on both sides of my half length line, like so. So now, because this is going to be a sleeveless blouse, I'll be going up with half inch from that chest line, and I'll be connecting it to the end of my strap. So this is how I'm placing my curve, and you can see I'm placing it to the end where my strap stops. That is where I'll be connecting the half inch point to. And we're going up by half inch so that our armpit is not too exposed, because this particular blouse does not have a full sleeve. So on the back pattern also, I'll be going up with half inch, and I'll be connecting it to the midpoint of my armhole. So this is it. Now I'm going to be cutting. So the cutting is just as important as the drafting. So please watch carefully how I'm going about the cutting of this pattern. So that's the center front, and this is how I'm folding my bust dart. I'm going to tape it down, then I'm going to be adjusting the pattern on that point. So I'm just going to, I blended the pattern on that point. So this is my strap here. I've already labeled my strap, so I know my front strap, I know my back strap. And this is it for our front pattern. Now for the back also, I'm going to be cutting. So guys, if you've not subscribed yet to the channel, please click on the subscribe button, like and share this video, and also click on notification bell so when I post the sewing tutorial for this particular style, we are updated immediately. Thank you. So this is my back strap here. Now I'm going to be cutting out my back spacing, so we'll be throwing away that part. We don't need it. And I'll be folding up this dart on my center, on my half length. After folding it, I'll tape it down also before I cut out this particular dart. I'm also going to be labeling it the up, the down, the center back, the side back, so that when we're joining our pieces together, we are not confused. And this is it for our back pattern. So guys, the next video is going to be on how to go about the sewing of this particular blouse with these ruffles. So if you're interested in, don't go anywhere, and see you in my next video. Bye for now.